Hey book nerds, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sydney and we have finished up another month of reading. We have closed the door on June 2025 and we have 18 books that I've read to go through. I have 15-ish here and there's some that I don't own that I listened to. But I'm super excited to go into all of these with you. If you like what you see, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts below on if you loved the same books that I did, if you have a different opinion on some of the books. I would love to hear your thoughts about it. So let's go into another reading recap. All right, so like I said, we have 18 books to go through. I'm going to start with the ones that I physically have, and then I will check my Fable app for the ones that I don't own that I did end up reading this month. So I'm just going to go through the stack because there's a lot of them. I don't have time to go in order. So we first have Shatter Me. Basically this one, it follows a girl named Juliet who has a power where basically it almost sounds like she electrocutes people if she touches them skin to skin. And she basically is locked away in an asylum because no one can touch her. Everyone is afraid of her, and she basically is isolated in an insane asylum. Say that 3 times fast. And then she finds there's a couple of people that she can't touch. She doesn't understand why, and she ends up trying to be used as a pawn in the new regime. What's it actually called? The Reestablishment. She gets used in the Reestablishment, and then she ends up working with a rebellion of sorts and going through that character development. And it was actually a pretty good book. I was pleasantly surprised. You definitely see the growth in it's written almost like a journal. You can definitely see the growth in the main character, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait to keep reading the rest of the series. Okay, the next one we have is Sanctuary of Shadow by Aurora Asher. This one, it follows a girl who is one of the last seers alive. All of the other ones were killed off by the wraiths, and then she ends up being found and is working for this circus. No one thinks she's a real seer, but she does act like the psychic in the circus. And then the guy that runs the circus, I guess the ringleader, what are those called? The ringmaster, basically. The guy that runs the circus, he purchases this creature that was found by almost like smugglers for exotic animals, and he wants to basically torture this thing, and she doesn't understand why. There ends up being a romance between her and this creature, and they go on the run from this circus guy. They think the circus guy is the big bad. There's fantasy, there's queen sisters, there's love, there's pain, there's betrayal, there's forgiveness for different hurts, and this book was just so good. It's one of those that with how it ended, it was so satisfying that this could be a standalone, and I would be perfectly happy with it. Like, A Song to Drown Rivers is also a standalone. That one is somewhere on my shelves back here, I think. That one is a standalone, and this one gave me not as emotionally damaging of vibes, but these definitely gave me standalone vibes. So I think this is the first in a series, but it could be a standalone, and I would be perfectly happy. It was phenomenal. Definitely recommend. The next book is the final book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. It is The Final Gambit. This one, you kind of see everything come to fruition. It's the end of the year for this inheritance and the games of the will, and it was definitely how do I explain this one? So the Final Gambit, you basically learn the rest, and it basically is like a loose end type of book where it ties up a lot of loose ends about this family that the main character Avery is inheriting billions from. And it was definitely a satisfying ending to it. this is definitely a YA trilogy. So if you're expecting super adult, super mature themes, you might not find that here. It is definitely like, Avery is like 17, 18. And a lot of the people she is around are of that age demographic. So you have to expect certain levels of maturity or lack thereof in the character arc, which is to be expected in a YA when they're 17. But it was, overall, I was happy with it. It was a very good book, very good ending to the original trilogy, and yeah, I might have to read more by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So, following that, we have Shadow and Bone. This is the first in a trilogy by Leigh Bardugo, and I gave it a 3 stars. Maybe a 3.5. I was not mad about it. It was definitely good, but, and I'm gonna keep on in the series. Like, I'm not gonna not read the rest of the series. But it was definitely setting up for a lot of moments, and it was very heavy on the fantasy world building of everything, which you kind of expect. I mean, it is a fantasy book, and you did get some character building, and like, the main character is learning all about herself in the process, which is super kind of fun, which is super fun. But it was all right. I am not mad about it. I'm gonna keep it, but it's like a maybe. It's like a meh. It was good. I'm not mad about it. I'm not upset that I read it. It's not one of those where I'm like, I should have DNF'd that. I'm glad I finished it, but I'm really hoping it gets better. We'll see how the second book goes. If the second book isn't that good, I might remove the entire trilogy from my shelves. So we will see. Okay, so this book is a book that a lot of people probably have not heard of. And it's one that I found at a local bookstore when I was in Florida last year with some friends. And I've been putting it off. I've had it for almost a year. I got it October of last year, and it's currently July 1st. And I just finished it a couple days ago. And it's also one of the books that I spun for. So this one, Shadow of Bone, House of Blight, Fearless, and I think Shatter Me. Those were the 5 that got spun for last month that I had to read in the month of June. And so read all of them, accomplished that. That was fun. But yeah, so The Unveiling was one of them. It is by Lori Harrison. She is a St. Augustine native. That is where the story starts, is in St. Augustine. And it's about this girl who has intuition. Her sister gets kidnapped when she was 14, and they never find her. Everyone basically thinks she's dead at this point, because it's been almost 5 years. And then she meets this guy in St. Augustine who also has different abilities, and there's a little bit of a romance there. And then they basically have to hunt down this like super scary scientist. And this book was so good. It was gripping, edge of your seat. I ended up buying the next 2 in the trilogy. I think it's only going to be a trilogy. I ended up buying the next 2 that are available. This book was so good. The Unveiling by Lori Harrison. Small author. If you're local to St. Augustine, she is a local author. And it was just so much fun and so good and gripping. She had a way of writing that was like easy to understand and follow along, to where it was easy to remember. And she reiterated things throughout the book, but it was not overdone on the reiteration. It was the right amount, just like remind you so it's stuck in your brain, but not like you feel like you're just regurgitating the same thing to hit a word count type of reiteration. 10 out of 10 recommend. It was so good. So good. Don't sleep on the tiny authors. Lori Harrison, you're doing something right. So, Shatter Me was a spin required for my month of June reads. What was not was the sequel, Unravel Me. So I ended up also reading Unravel Me, which is the second book in the series. There is a novella in between that I have not read yet that puts some of the things into perspective from Warren's point of view. So I need to read that on my Kindle. I have not done that yet. But the next major book from Juliet's POV is Unravel Me. So, read this one. It was also very good, very twisty, and my mind was absolutely blown. And I already got Ignite Me. It's in the queue, ready to go. But this book was phenomenal. Definitely recommend. The first book can feel a little bit slow, can feel somewhat juvenile, but this one really has a lot of character development, relationship growth, and you learn a lot about the world and the reestablishment, and that not everything it's one of those where it's like, do the ends necessitate the means in there, of like that moral qualm of, is this worth it for the end result, even though it seems morally gray right now. So definitely enjoyed this book, would recommend. It was just so good. So good. This one she definitely is trying to figure out, like she's torn between two men and love interests. I don't give any more away than that. And it's like throughout this entire book I was going back and forth of who did I want her to end up with. And I still don't know. I still don't know who I want her to end up with between the two main love interests. So this next book was for book club. It is Beauty by Sheri S. Tepper. So let me also phrase, this is copyright 1991. Her writing is very ecofeminism, which is not a vibe I tend to go for. But it was like almost like she tried too much. I gave it like a 3.5. It was alright. It was good. I'm not mad about it. I'd probably read more of her books, but it was very much like, it was all over the place. It was very hard to follow sometimes, and it was not an easy book to get through. It took me a while to read it. I'm pretty sure I started in the month of May, but it was like you follow Beauty, and it's basically like Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella and Snow White. It's like a fairy tale retelling. And I mean, it wasn't bad. It was very well written. It just wasn't my vibe. So it might be yours. I am going to keep it because it was my first book club book. And yeah, and I might give it another shot in the future because one of my friends, she said that she's read pieces of it before, and she's also a big fan of this author. And so she said when she was reading this book, it was a lot more enjoyable because she knew what to expect from Sheri that I didn't necessarily expect going into it. So I might give this one another shot in the future. I was super excited about this one because it is the second book in a duology by Danielle L. Jensen, and it ended up coming out in the month of June, and I'm so excited. A Curse Carved in Bone. It is the sequel to A Fading Dim Blood, and we follow Feyre and Bjorn, and it's very like Viking Nordic mythology based, but it was so good, and I don't want to spoil any of it because if I talk about it too much, I'm going to spoil it. I am sad that this is over, but the way Danielle ended it is if she wanted to write like novellas after of like the adventures that is it Feyre or Freya? Freya. I keep on saying Feyre after ACOTAR. So the adventures that like Freya and her people go on after this book. It was so good. I'm so sad the world is over. I love the pretty shiny edges though. Yeah, definitely recommend. And if you haven't read A Fading Dim Blood, then you should follow it up with this. The duology is called Saga of the Unfated, and it was so good. So good. I'm so sad it's over. This book had me in chokehold. Could not put it down. This is not normally the type of book that I go for because I don't normally go for spicy or like extra spicy. But I did read the fourth book in the Twisted series, Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. This one is probably my favorite out of all four of them for many reasons, but I also think like these characters are ones that I just kind of related to the most when it came to wanting to like keep people out and stay guarded. And just like, yeah, I don't know. This book was also good. It basically, you follow Christian Harper and Stella, and he ends up being her protector and bodyguard and all of that because of different situations that she's walking through. And like, he also ends up helping her in her career as well after a couple of things backfire. He helps her navigate family relationships, and then she helps him realize like not everybody is out to get you, and that it's okay to let certain people in. And it was a beautiful ending. Like the epilogue of it, tore me to pieces. It was so sweet, so well done, and it was definitely the perfect way to conclude the Twisted series. We need to talk about the Silent Patient. We need to talk about this one. I've been avoiding it. A ton of people have told me that it was phenomenal, and they were right. The ending, I was not expecting. I was floored. That's the only way I can put it. And obviously don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil it for people. But basically, you have this girl who is convicted of murdering her husband, but they basically think she snapped and went crazy and killed him. And then she just stops talking. And they think it's shock, and so a bunch of psychotherapists are trying to, like, help her, like, tell them what actually happened. Like, why did you kill your husband? And she's just silent. And so then the psychotherapist, Theo Faber, jumps in to work with her, and he wants to get her to talk to unravel the mystery of why she shot her husband. And it is gripping, and I personally, I might have just been blind to it, did not see the ending coming. It was so well done. So well done. Yes. Just yes. Yes. Right. So, this next book is called The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. This one, it was good. It was like historical fiction meets, it was historical fiction. It was definitely like historical fiction. It went back and forth between two different time periods. There wasn't really a whole lot of fantasy with it, but basically, like, you walk through what happened to this lost apothecary, and then as you're, like, seeing something happen in the modern time, where they're basically solving the mystery of what happened to this lost apothecary 200 years ago. And in the midst of it, like, the female main character, she finds her voice, figures out what she wants, and ends up basically very much female empowerment in, like, the best way possible. Like, this book was it was good. I might actually increase my rating on it that I gave it, because I gave it like a 3-star. But it was definitely a good read. I'm not upset about it. It was kind of slow, and it didn't really have, like, a super high, like, climactic, like, jaw-dropping twist, but it was very good. I am very... Okay, there was one big twist at the end of it, and my jaw hit the floor on that one. But otherwise, it was fairly slow. It was a very good book. I am very happy I read it. So yeah, The Lost Apothecary. If you're very much into, like, historical fiction, you'll definitely enjoy this one. This book also had me in a chokehold. We have House of Blight. I loved this book. This book was very good. You have this girl who is a healer, and those are coveted by the elites in this society, which are basically, they're fae who control everything. They're fae elite or in the slums. And so it's called Threadmenders. So Adira was a Threadmender, but if you heal somebody, depending on how grave the injury is, you lose some of your own threads of, like, your lifespan. So, like, if you heal, like, a paper cut, it might be an hour off of your life, but if you heal someone with a gunshot wound, it might be like 3 years off of your life until you run out of threads and you die. And so she basically gets discovered by the Fernglove family, which is one of these elite fae families. And what they want is for her to heal what's called blight, hence the name of the book. And they're kind of elusive about it, and there's 2 brothers, and you never know which brother is actually telling you the truth while you're reading the book. And you start getting hints and clues onto who is being honest, like which person is the one that should be with her and who is actually protecting her from the other one. You never know until the very end, and my jaw hit the floor, and I love this book. So yes, 100 times yes, you should read House of Blank. We are just in the ending of series this week, or this month. So I ended up reading and finishing Fearless, which is another spin that I did on my June TBR spin. And so this was the third book in the Powerless trilogy, and good golly, Miss Molly, I was a mess. Like, I don't normally like physically cry over books, but if I was one that normally did, I would have at the end of this, because the ending is heart-wrenching, and you learn so much about the royal family and the princes and Pei and like her origin. It's just, it was mind-blowing. It was so well done and so beautiful at the end. Like, Lauren Roberts, round of applause for how you finished this trilogy. This one, going like throughout the book, I was like, this one is not my favorite. I don't exactly understand what is what's going on, and it was just very mid until about the 55% mark, and then it really picked up, and from there I was like, okay, yeah, no, now I get why people love this one. But at the beginning, I was like, meh, am I actually gonna finish this trilogy? Like, I'm gonna be very sad if I don't like it. So, like, you have an entire chapter. This is an entire chapter in this book. I am grief, I am sorrow, I am anguish alike. That's the entire chapter. You had things like that, and good golly, Miss Molly, if you want a non-spicy, romantic-y type series, this one is very good. I am very thrilled and pleased with it. Like, this is one that I would let my nieces read. And keep in mind, my nieces are all in high school or out of high school, so this is one I would let them read. It was very good, definitely enjoy, and I am very sad that it is over. This one, I was skeptical because my mom is a very big fan of this author. And, you know, when you're growing up, you're like, oh, that's my mom's favorite, I'm not gonna enjoy it. I'm not gonna like it. I'm not gonna be into the same thing my mom is. I was wrong. Nora Roberts, Magician. The Inheritance, edge of my seat, hanging on every word, ready to rock. It was so good. I ended up ordering this one because I originally didn't own it, but I was like, got this one. The mirror is over there, and I pre-ordered the Seven Rings, which is going to be here in November, because this is a trilogy that everyone needs in their life. It's kind of closed door, but you definitely know what is happening. Like, it's not spicy like Twisted Lies, but it is also not as innocent either in the way that things are mentioned. But it is very good. Very good. Basically, this girl, what's her name again? You have Astrid. Okay, yeah, you have Sonia. And she basically inherits this house in Maine. She lives in Boston. Inherits this house in Maine from an uncle she never knew existed, but the house is haunted. And every generation, the first bride dies. And she's trying to solve this mystery, and like part of the will is she has to live in the house for 3 years for the will to be sealed, for her to basically keep the millions that he left her. And she's like, why did this uncle that I've never heard of leave me all of this? Like, this is insanity. And, like, her best friend moves in, and she becomes friends with like the lawyer's son, and starts working for herself. Like, she quit her job, and like all of this stuff happens. And then at the end of it, you kind of, I don't know, like, look at the end papers. Look at that. That is gorgeous. That is basically the house on the hill that she inherits. It is so good. So I'm super excited to continue in this trilogy, and you should read it. This is definitely a big yes. I was like edge of my seat hooked. Okay, so this is a newer one. This is a newer release. It is called Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. And This one I have heard mixed reviews about on the BookTube, Bookstagram, BookTok channels. But let me tell you, worth it. Such a good read. I have heard some people say that it came off of like super high, fast-paced fantasy action, and then this one felt really slow for them. I did not come from that, but so I absolutely adored it. I thought this was phenomenal. I cannot wait for the next book to come out. Like, why do I have to wait? So good. So good. Yeah. Daphne Perry did, she wrote this, she did this book good. She wrote it good. And it's, like, the twist at the end blew my socks off. I was not expecting that, and I was floored. So, this is one I've been sleeping on. Like, I had a bookstore order it for me, and then it's just been sitting on my shelf. And it is heavy. It is a heavy book. It is A Word So Fitly Spoken by T.A. Lawrence. I was very, I don't know why. I was, like, super into it when I got it, and then I was just very, like, oh, I don't want to read it and not like it and get rid of it, because I've been so looking forward to this book. Let me tell you, don't sleep on this, The Severed Realms. Like, I want the next one. This one is so good, and basically follows, like, one-eyed girl who, there's, like, an evil Fae king who puts out this decree, and to save her sister, basically volunteers as tribute to basically save her. It wasn't, like, inadvertently saves all the other human girls, but she did it to save her sister. And she ends up learning a lot more about the king, and not all is as it seems. And there are other evil powers at play, but evil does not. Evil, in the end, evil will never win. But this book was so good. And I don't know if it still is, but I got it when it was included on Audible, so it might still be included there if you have an Audible membership. But definitely good. It's definitely a heavy book. I don't know why it's so heavy compared to others. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels heavier. But, I don't know. It is so good. So we have A Word So Fitly Spoken by T.A. Lawrence. So there are some books that I read that I do not physically own. Where are they? So, one of them is Expiration Dates by Rebecca Serrell. It was okay. I gave it 3-star. It was very, I don't know, it was very predictable in how it went. It was a very cute romance. I'm not mad I read it. I did not like it enough to purchase it, but I am glad that I read it. It was cute, it was sweet, and it basically was like, you hold your, you make your decisions. Like, don't let a piece of paper, like, tell you what is going to happen. It is 100% in your control. And then I also read Filthy Rich Fae by Jennifer Lee. That one was surprisingly very good. I might actually purchase that one to put on my shelves. That one was surprisingly good. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. And I kind of want to continue on in the series. That one was so good. So, let's see, are there any others that I know that I've read? No, I think those are the only two. So, those are all of the books that I have finished in the month of June. And one of the things that I am starting to do effective today is any book I finish between July 1st of 2025, I'm going to give myself a little over a year to do it because my birthday's at the end of August. So and I will turn 30 in August of 2026. So from July 1st today, the day I am recording this, to the midnight before I turn 30, I am going to do my own version of the hardest reading challenge you will ever do. Essentially what that one is, for me, it's very similar to the one that everyone does, but I kind of personalized it with, like, I'm not doing, like, some of the, like, year ones that I did. I personalized that to, like, the year I was born, to the year I graduated high school, college, the year I got married. that kind of thing for like when a book was published, still doing the colors, still doing the like spell your full name, all of those things. But I am super excited about that one for every book that I finish between now and my birthday next year of 2026. So super excited about that. We'll dive more into that in a different video. But these are all the books that I have read. I cannot wait to learn about what you've read, if it was a good reading month, a bad reading month. No month is a bad reading month. They're just some that are better than others. So cannot wait to see what you dove into and your thoughts on some of these books. And I will see you in the next one. I'm super excited because I'm going to film a little bit. Not much because I want to enjoy my family time. But we are going on a trip soon. And I cannot wait to film some of my reading content on location. So I will see y'all in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, morning, night, whatever time of day it is for you. And yeah, see you next time. Have a good day, book nerds.